We're returning to our earlier story now. Labor to announce details of its 10-year economic plan. With me for some reaction to this, we've got the Finance Minister, Mathias Cormann. And from the document, Labor says it believes in returning the budget to balance in a way which supports economic growth in the short term. And that's why they say our budget savings, like negative gearing, build over time and deliver a substantial fiscal dividend over the medium term. Why does that not make sense in your view?
Well, firstly, their attack on negative gearing is not a saving, it's a tax hike, and Labor has indeed already announced more than $100 billion in higher taxes over the medium term, which would hurt the economy and cost jobs. And what we have seen here today is confirmation of what we've been saying for some time, and that is that Labor cannot pay for the many unfunded spending promises, that Labor will deteriorate the budget bottom line over the four-year forward estimates period. Labor will have a bigger deficit over the four-year budget forward estimates period, which is the period that actually matters under the Charter of Budget Honesty. So what Labor needs to tell us today is how much bigger the deficit will be as a result of the many unfunded spending promises that they've made so far.
But as the government itself has said, growth at the moment in the economy, growth is fragile. Isn't it better to not front load essentially the fiscal repair, to do it gradually like the Labor Party's promising to do?
Well, the economy is growing more strongly now than when we came into government, 3.1% over the most recent 12 months period, which is higher than when we came into government. What the economy needs is our National Economic Plan for Jobs and Growth. What the economy needs is our plan to pursue our innovation agenda, our defence industry plan, our export trade deals, which Labor seems to be crap walking away from, and also, of course, our more competitive business tax rate, which Labor is opposing when in the past they well understood that a more competitive business tax rate would boost investment, boost growth, and indeed, increase real wages over time.
Given things are precarious, internationally as well, why does it not make sense for Labor to say, OK, we're going to phase in our budget repair across a longer period when there are reforms that they're arguing are going to kick in down the track and then therefore within 10 years be balanced?
We can't trust Labor's promises over a four-year period. How can anyone trust them over an 11-year period, which is what the medium term is? I mean, Wayne Swan once promised 4 years of surpluses in May 2012 only to deliver more deficits. The truth is Labor can't manage money. Labor doesn't know how to pay for their promises. The only reason they're coming clean today is because we've been putting them under pressure day in, day out over the unfunded spending promises they're making. Bill Shorten every day in this campaign is making promises that he can't pay for, and promises he can't pay for will either not be delivered or will lead to higher deficits. And the problem with higher deficits is that they will lead to higher taxes which hurt the economy and cost jobs. And already, I mean, Labor has already got more than $100 billion in additional taxes, and even after all of that, they still can't balance the books.
They're saying that they're going to have their budget balanced by the same year that you are, 2020, 2021.
Well, let's see the detail, because so far Labor has made spending promise after spending promise which is not funded. We're now hearing that they will admit that the deficit will be bigger under Labor over the four-year forward estimates period, which is the period that matters under the Charter of Budget Honesty. Let's see what they say and let's see what they fess up to.
We've seen that ad from the Liberal Party focusing on comments that Bill Shorten made on this program back in 2012, but he has said that things have changed since and their priorities have also changed. Why is that not a defensible argument given the current state of the budget?
Well, a more competitive business tax rate is even more important than what it was 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, Chris Bowen, as recent as 18 months ago, was arguing on a different television station that we needed a lower, more competitive business tax rate, that the business tax rate had been at the same level for 14 years and that was too long and it needed to change. So, I mean, the truth is Labor in their heart of heart knows that the economy needs a more competitive business tax rate to attract investment, to boost growth and to boost real wages over time. They just haven't got the strength to do what is right for Australia. They're just playing politics.
In terms of their approach, though, they've been upfront, have they not, in terms of policies? They've been well ahead of most other oppositions in terms of the electoral cycle. Today, we're more than 3 weeks out and they're providing their economic plan. That is a lot earlier than a lot of previous opposition parties.
Well, let's see what they release today. Let's see whether they fess up to how much bigger the deficit will be under Labor over the 4 years of the budget forward estimates period. I mean, we've been saying for a long time now that Labor cannot pay for their promises, and that what Labor is proposing to do will put pressure on the economy because higher taxes will hurt growth. And let's see what they actually announced today.
Well, we will see, but again, I'll put it to you that they're providing a lot more detail than other oppositions in terms of providing an economic plan. They're being upfront with the electorate, aren't they?
Well, that's not true. I mean, we had a very comprehensive economic plan in lead up to the last election, and over the last 3 years, we've achieved results. When we came into government, we inherited a weakening economy, rising unemployment, and a budget position that was rapidly deteriorating. Today, the economy is stronger, growing at 3.1%. Employment growth is stronger, 3 times the rate over the past 12 months compared to the last 12 months of Labor. And the unemployment rate is below what was previously anticipated. Our budget position, our budget is now on a credible path back to surplus. Let's see what Labor actually has to say. All we can see is a plan for more unfunded spending promises and higher taxes, which will hurt the economy.
Is there a vulnerability for the government, though, if Labor does, as it's saying this morning, articulate a plan to have lower deficits across the forward estimates and then larger surpluses in the medium term?
Well, Labor's been forced into this position to fess up that they could not pay for their promises over the 4-year forward estimates period. That their promises over an 11-year period cannot be believed. Labor's track record is that they cannot be trusted to deliver on their promises over a 4-year period. I mean, I said to you, like Wayne Swan promised 4 years of surpluses in his 2012-13 budget, only to have to come out by Christmas to say that there would be more deficits. So, I mean, Labor has got a very bad track record on this. People who want stronger growth and more jobs will be supporting the coalition at this election.
Finance Minister Matthias Cormann, thanks for your time.
Always good to talk to you.